I've been going to the gym for over a year now, and I go 3 to 5 times a week, just depending on how I'm feeling. My favorite time to go is early in the morning, like 6 or 7 a.m. on a weekday. Seems to be the least crowded at these times, and it makes for a better experience when there aren't 100 people sweating their balls off and all, having to wait to get on the station that they want. This actually happened at a Planet Fitness. I don't go to that gym anymore though. I switched right away to this small town athletic club that my city has to offer, and I've liked it a lot more so far. It's a bit more pricey, but definitely worth it when you don't have to deal with as many creeps. They even have a pool and a few other things that Planet Fitness doesn't have, so it's really nice. The PF that I used to go to was in a rougher part of town as well, which probably attracted more creeps. Nonetheless, it was the first gym that I tried, as I was pretty nervous and I had no idea what I was doing, and I really liked their whole motto, the no judgment deal. I knew that there were going to be more newbies there than anywhere else, so that's why I chose it. At the time, I didn't have a lot of extra cash either, and with it being relatively cheap, it seemed like the perfect fit for me. Everything was fine for the first few months. Not many complaints at all. I would have guys hit on me sometimes, but usually they would leave me alone once I told them I wasn't interested. Luckily, that only happened a few times. But there was this one guy and he told me his name was Matt. He would always try to talk to me and it seemed like he was always there when I was. He wouldn't necessarily flirt with me, but he kind of would at the same time. He would keep it real light though and not too noticeable, if you get what I'm saying. I could tell he wanted something from me, but he wasn't coming right out and saying it. He wasn't ugly, but genuinely, I wasn't interested in him, like I expected he hoped I was. I wasn't at the gym to meet guys. I was there with a specific goal in mind every day. I'm sure a lot of you regular gym goers can relate. Well, one night on a Saturday, I was sitting on the couch and I had nothing to do. And I had this sudden burst of energy, so I thought, why not go to the gym? It was like 11:30 at night, and I've never been there that late, but I figured not many people would be there. It turns out that I was right. It seemed like the whole place was empty. I literally saw 5 cars in the parking lot. There was an older lady on the treadmill and maybe 1 or 2 people in the gym working out. But other than that, and maybe an employee or two, that was it. But then I saw Matt. He of course came up to me and tried to talk to me as usual, but I told him I wasn't in the mood right now, and I would like to be left alone. But he wasn't being patient at all with me. It was like a whole new Matt came out of him. His eyes swallowed me whole as he looked intensely at me. I don't really care what you want right now. Why can't you just talk to me? Is it really that hard? At this point, I was so livid I was ready to scream at him. But quite honestly, I was also terrified. I mean, there was nobody near us. The good thing is that there were cameras everywhere, but that didn't mean he couldn't hurt me if he wanted to. All of a sudden, he grabbed my butt and he asked me what I was going to do about it. Then he tried to grab my waist and he pulled me in closely and he tried kissing me. I slapped him and I dug my nails into his face, but he started choking me. I literally thought I was going to die. I don't even remember how long he was choking me for. I just remember an eating error and feeling like I was going to faint from lack of oxygen. Then after a little bit, I heard a brave lady yell at him, telling him to stop, and he let go of me almost immediately and ran away. She and one of the male workers came to my aid and called the police for me. I made a statement, but I was hysterical. The man was long gone by the time the cops showed up, of course, but they had clear video evidence of him, and they knew his name and where he lived, even. So it wasn't that hard to find him. He was actually arrested the very next day, and that was it. I heard he was bailed out of jail shortly after, though. Even though Planet Fitness revoked his membership, and I highly doubted he would ever show his face there again, I chose to do the safe thing and get a membership at a new gym. It was probably the best decision I ever made. Nowadays, I go with a gym buddy most of the time, as I haven't fully healed over the trauma of what that man did to me. Anything can happen anywhere, and there's nothing wrong with being prepared for a worst-case scenario, so don't let anyone tell you otherwise. A few years ago, I used to go to this locally owned 24-hour gym. It was late at night, and I had just gotten off work. Usually, when I went to the gym that late, there wouldn't be anyone there, not even an employee. Only members were allowed in, though, and you had to let yourself in with a key card. When I pulled into the parking lot, I didn't see a single car. It was actually really nice, and I loved having the gym to myself. I walked up to the door to let myself in, and I heard a noise coming from behind me. I turned around and was shocked to see an older man walking. He was dragging his feet across the pavement and staring down at the ground. Then, all of a sudden, we made eye contact, and he stopped moving. I quickly let myself in, and the door locked behind me. Something about the way it all went down was creepy, but I eventually forgot about it because I thought maybe I was just being paranoid. Midway through my workout, while doing some squats, I could have sworn on my life I saw something out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned my head to look, there was nothing there. I kept feeling like I was being watched, but I couldn't prove it. I really just wanted to know why I was feeling that way and why I was getting such a bad feeling. A little while later, as I was going to set the dumbbells I was using back on the rack, I heard a really loud noise coming from the other side of the gym. It sounded like a bunch of clutter falling to the ground. My heart skipped a beat, then started racing. I wanted to run out of the gym. I don't know why I didn't. I think I was just too scared. My stomach started to feel queasy, and I was feeling out of breath. I knew something was wrong and that I should probably leave, but I was frozen. Just when I was finally about to make a run for it, boom, the lights went out. I can't even explain to you just how scared I was at this point. In the heat of the moment, I quickly, but also as quietly as possible, ran to the women's restroom and locked myself in a stall to hide and to dial 911. But of course, literally the worst thing possible happened. I wasn't picking up any service, so the call wouldn't go through. "We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time." It didn't end there though, because just after that, I saw a light beaming from the entry of the restroom. And then I heard some whistling in the voice of a man. "Hey, I know you're in here. You might as well come out and say hello." No joke. I thought I might have been dreaming at that point and that maybe I was stuck in a nightmare. I tried to wake myself up, but obviously it wasn't working because I wasn't dreaming. This was definitely real life, and I was going to have to face my fears. This was the kind of thing I was always warned about by my mom and my family. They would often tell me I shouldn't be going out to places late, especially all alone. Suddenly I had the realization, I had the flashback of when I saw that man in the parking lot. I just had this feeling that it was him. How could this be happening to me, I thought. I didn't even have time to think another thought because right then, I heard footsteps getting closer to the stall I was in, and then a light knocking sound on one of the stall doors. There were at least like 8 stalls, and he knocked on all of them, including mine. I don't know why he didn't try to open them. Maybe he was just trying to prolong it, and he got some sick satisfaction out of scaring me. Somehow he knew I was in there though, obviously. He had to have been watching me this whole time. He finally started opening doors, and I could hear them creaking open slowly. It was only a matter of seconds before he knew which one I was in, and then I would really be trapped. When I thought I had the best chances of escaping, when he was on the other side of the bathroom, I dove to the floor, and then I army crawled and rolled out of the stall, and I booked it screaming for help. "Get back here, I just want to talk." I mean, he was literally screaming this. In that exact moment, I have never felt fear like that a day in my life. It was more than fear. It was literally life or death. That's the best way I can describe it. I was alone with this guy that was probably going to try to kill me or sex traffic me, I don't know. I managed to get a decent look at him because, for some reason, the power came back on. He was the older man that I expected from earlier. He had white hair and was average height, and he had this crazy-looking hairstyle. Kind of like Albert Einstein, I guess. He was also really skinny. He seemed to be drunk or on a mixture of drugs, and he tried chasing me down, but I was much faster than him. He tried yelling at me some more and asked if I could take care of him for $50. I never saw that man again after that, and I hope I never have to.